Hi everyone, and welcome back again to Second Rank Fire. I'm, as always, your host Ben, and today we've got my co-host Dave.
Hello, good evening everyone.
And we've got another guest. We said we would as part of the last podcast.
Yeah,
But Mike
another one.
from Gatehouse Gaming. How are you doing, Mike? You doing alright?
I'm good, thank you very much, yes.
Welcome to the show. It's a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for having me.
That's quite alright. So, as always with this sort of stuff, we'll start off with you, Mike, and sort of what's your background in... before the show we had a bit of a chat, but it's not just Warhammer, but sort of beyond Warhammer. What's sort of your history in the hobby and stuff like that?
Oh, it's a long one. I was there from when I was a kid, going to the usual Warhammer store, go do all that. I got into Lizardmen very, very early on.
Great choice.
Then we all grew up, universities, all that kind of stuff kind of took over.
Yeah.
Then my background is horticulture, specifically tropical horticulture. So
Okay.
that's why I do all the dioramas and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, I've been around the hobby for quite a while. Come back in the last 5-10 years, but more around the D&D kind of side and all that. Then coming back to embrace the Warhammer side, and boy, is there a lot to go around.
Yeah.
Oh, there is. Yeah. Similar to you, I played fantasy back in the day. I was an Orcs player. Coming back into the hobby was so I came back in 8th edition into 40k, never played 40k before. The hobby's such a different place to how it was.
So different.
From all that time ago.
So different. And again, we came back. I think I was dabbling about the 10th edition is when I truly kind of came back. And then ever since then, it's a lovely space now. It's so much more open, more accepting, which is a great thing because that's who we are as a company as well. We are very open and a very progressive company as well, being very open. So we love that it's now becoming a better place for everyone.
Yeah, 100%. It's interesting as well because obviously having a good think about like basing and stuff like that. Back in the day, the bases were, let's be honest, green flock, goblin green. Basing has changed insane amounts.
So much. Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, even I remember those days. It was either green flock or yellow building sand. If you could find it, that was it.
Yeah.
It was nothing special. But yeah. Oh yeah. It's evolved so much over the years, especially in the last few years. Again, the accessibility factor. I put that down too.
Yeah. I have many questions and many thoughts around basing. We'll talk about that slightly later on. Yeah, we'll definitely. Dave, let's do our standard stuff. I think I went first last time, so I want to throw it over to you. What have you been up to for the last 2 weeks?
I've got into my AOS Soulblight stuff now at the moment. I pretty much smashed out 2 characters quite quickly within 5 days, I'll say. Eventually got my shoulder pads for my Blood Angels, which I failed to glue on because I got so sidetracked with my Soulblight stuff. But apart from that, not really lots been going on really. I think it's been quite easy. Did I complete my captain last session? Can I remember?
Yeah, I think you finished it, or you were getting close to finishing it. I can't remember exactly.
He's done now, and which is a win. And yeah, that's about it to be honest. But loving the Soulblight stuff, the Vampire Lord from the Warhammer Plus stuff, and the Lady whatever King of Direwolves or Queen of Direwolves, pretty much.
Yeah. Such a cool model.
Such a cool model. So I had really good fun painting it and testing out the new base and stuff from Seek Studios, which I'm loving. So nice. Just like, put a bit of PVA on, base material, done. Brilliant.
This is Dave's first foray into base Mike.
Okay, that's.
I used to be like the king of cork and just had cork everything.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But now it's like the whole new world's unlocked. It's brilliant.
I've come to the right place then.
Lady Kane, Chloe turned me over to them. Obviously, so she did a lot, and then Dave's turned me towards Slapchop, and I've turned him towards Basement.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's a good trade-off. I think.
Yeah. I say
apart
Chloe's
from that,
amazing. Yeah, she's
yeah,
opened a lot of eyes just doing what she does. So yeah,
yeah, absolutely very talented. But yeah, apart from that, it's not a lot of much. I'm still staring at Headless Space Marines at the moment to my left, which are crying out to be painted. But we'll cross that bridge when we come to it, because I need to build my last guard tank for next month, which we'll probably tell about later.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you say that's not much. It was 2 models, but at the same time, that lady, whatever her name is like 3 models in itself, right? It's 3 wolves and the rider.
Yeah, it's 2 wolves and a rider. But yeah, the base is stunning. I like how it's such an iconic piece with the base in. I was a bit worried when I was gluing the wolf on, there would be enough room on the base. I think it's a 60. I think she's on a 50mm base. I can't really remember.
Good size though. Still,
I think it's 50mm. I could be wrong, but I'll probably get criticised in the comments by it. But hey ho.
That's fine. We've got to get comments somehow, Dave. It's not a problem.
It's engagement. It's engagement.
Absolutely. Yeah. But no, I enjoyed it. Like sort of linking it to my Six of Sigmar stuff colour scheme with the orange and blue and sort of like intertwining the two together. But
I don't think you explained that in the last episode about your theme on the Soulblight. We've definitely talked about it. I don't know if you talked about it on here, but it's worth talking about it anyway again.
Some reason I'll talk about it now. Some reason I just like the colour of the like the orange and blue. I think it's a nice combo and it balances quite well. And with Soulblight, you can sort of get away with it with everything, because you can say there are undead corpses from previous battles and risen them up, blah 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 blah, and all that lot. But no, so that's the idea behind it. I was like, once I've got a cool colour scheme on my head, I like to stick with it. I know it's a bit bland or black and white, but if it ain't broken, don't fix it, I'll say.
Exactly.
But yeah, so I've got the Soulblight book coming next week, which I'm excited to get. And
cool.
but I'm also excited to see the chapter approved stuff coming as well, which I've got contact with someone that's already got it, and I've got a copy coming. So,
spoilers.
Nice. So, yeah. I think the cards look really interesting. It should change the game.
Especially, I like the if you want to play small point games where it's quite. I think they're trying to push the smaller points.
Yeah.
Which sort of a double-edged sword, really. Where I've read on the community site where you can't have. Is it up to 3 of the same? They've changed it to you only have up to 2 of the same, which means less horses for me, unfortunately, to 40. But I'm sure I can live with that. Just means I can have more tanks. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. You can have some people on foot, Dave. You're an Imperial Guard player. Have some foot troops.
I gotta say, have some.
Don't insult me. I've got guys and tanks. That counts, right?
That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, how about you, Ben? You being quite a busy boy.
Relatively, yeah. So I've got that unit of aggressors all finished, which I don't think I even started. I think I was still painting up the scheme in the first place. So yeah, I've got a unit of aggressors finished in the gold scheme. So the interesting was that I sprayed them. So obviously the scheme that I'd done before, this is the gold and the red scheme, that was all hand painted. So I've done the brown undercoat and then the gold over the top, all hand painted. Took ages. I was kind of umming and erring whether or not it would make an easy scheme and then how I'd do it on the tank. Colourforge saved the day, came through.
I was going to say, did you use Colourforge? Yeah.
Colourforge, incredible. So I've got the trench brown as the undercoat, and then the overcoat is the gauntlet gold. The rest of the gold on the armour is literally the Agrax wash and streak and grime. That's it. I don't do anything else to that gold. It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I've heard the same thing. Their metallics are second to none, as well as their like undercoats. It's just night and day. So yeah, I love those colours.
The finish is the closest I think I've ever had to an airbrush with a rattle gun. It's absolutely incredible. Like it goes on really nicely. It's got quite like a variable speed in terms of the spray. And when I first looked at it when it was wet, I was like, oh, this doesn't really look that different from like the Citadel ones. The moment it dried, I was like, oh, that's a good finish.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, those aggressors are all finished. I have also got out a whole load of other stuff. So I got out, this was like 2 days ago, a day ago, can't remember when I did it. 5 heavy intercessors, 3 eradicators, 2 lieutenants on foot. A lieutenant, I should say lieutenant, I'm British. The lieutenant with combi weapon, my tech marine, Calgar and his Victrix guard, and the tank. They're all now gold. So I've got all of those, sprayed all those in one session, so they're all ready to paint. Now, the community absolutely wants me to paint a tank. I think 90% of the people that responded to my story were like, paint the tank. And I was like, cool. Let's go from painting an aggressor to painting a tank. This is going to be fine, right? This is not going to cause me issues whatsoever.
Yeah, it's quite easy though, isn't it? Like, not easy, I'll say, but you've done 90% of the work already.
Yeah.
You've got to pick out the detail.
Yeah. So the red, it's going to be interesting, so I'll try and break up the panels. So the red on them is a contrast, so it's the Blood Angels red. So I want to try and get a nice big brush and contrast that. Interestingly, streaking grime and taking streaking grime off, it evens out contrast. So some of the contrast on those aggressors was quite streaky before I put the streaking grime on. For some reason, when I put streaking grime on, take off, it just seems to cover it beautifully, take out a lot of the streakiness. So honestly, like, I know people have talked about streaking grime being like this magical liquid before, and I've never really got it. I've always been too afraid of putting it on a model, because it's almost like you finish painting a model and then you go, I'm just going to dip it in mud. It'd be alright.
Is that when you wipe it off with the excess?
Yeah, so you've got like a white spirit, so I've got the thinner from AK, whatever it is. So yeah, I use cotton buds, which I know some people are like, you always use cotton buds, other people are like, don't use cotton buds whatsoever. I was using those, and yeah, it's magical. I'm going to use it on everything. It's just the most incredible stuff in the world. It's like cheat code towards getting grimdark. It's fantastic. And you can airbrush it on, which should be interesting.
Okay.
That'd be quite handy for the tank.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, when I'm doing the tank rather than hand painting it on, I'll airbrush it on. So yeah, I'm hoping that should make it turn out alright. But so yeah, some of the panels will be broken up by red, so I'm going to contrast over those. And the Agrax wash is quite a heavy wash that I put on it, so I'm not too worried about that. Having a heavy wash kind of stops it being streaky, which is a big win. So I think that's it for my custom chapter. I've not done any YouTube stuff, absolutely, apart from the Second Fire that went out. I've not touched any of the YouTube stuff. I've been far too interested in painting. I have nearly finished. I think I've got 8 minutes left on the third Gaunt's Ghost book.
Oh, third book there.
It's my least favourite so far.
Yeah.
It was so slow to get into, because it was like, there was nothing about Gaunt or the ghosts for like the first 20-30 minutes of the recording. It was just all to do with this planet, and I was like, I don't care about this planet. I'd get its backstory, but just give me more of the ghosts, please. It gets better. I've got 8 minutes left, so it's kind of nearly over. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go on to the fourth book. So lots of listening. And the other big one. So I sold my Chaos Knights, huge, and I've bought some Iron Jaws. I picked up the Wrecker Mob box set. So Cryptic had one lying around, so I am now the proud owner of a Wrecker Mob for the Iron Jaws. It's going to be a lot of orcs.
Yeah.
It's like 20 odd boys, one of the big pigs, and then 6 of the wreckers or whatever they are, like wreckers or ragers, depending on which way you build them.
That's nothing.
Plus, then I've got the mega boss on Maw Crusher, and then I've got the mega boss on foot. So it feels like a good start to an Iron Jaws army.
Oh, you don't want to hear what's in my Soulblight list at all.
I don't think I'm ever going to be able to build a good Iron Jaws list, because I'm just too nostalgic about running big boars. That's what I used to run as fantasy. It's like you, Dave, with horses. That's me with pigs. I just want more pigs.
I think I'll probably be up in the ante on my one, with lots of direwolves in my Soulblight list.
Yes.
And see how many direwolves I can fit in the general's unit. They'll probably outdo my ponies, I reckon, easy. Yeah.
They should be relatively easy to paint though, I guess, because they're easier than the horses to paint.
Yeah.
Those horses got almost too much detail in.
Yeah, yeah, so I like to experiment with the blood and gore and the technical paint from GW and stuff like that. And I may try it this week. I may buy some and see if I can add it to the direwalls on the lady model. But I'm trying to work a list at the moment with the current points at the moment before I see the Soul Blight stuff come out. I'm just going direwolves and zombies. That's all I'm going with. Just lols. That's all I care about. If I can have a zombie dragon, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Like the Star Drake model, because that's so good. I can't wait to paint that. And as you say, it's all about the rule of cool for AOS, and I don't care if it's going to do poo. I'm in my element.
We don't win games here at Saka Rank 5. Winning's for losers.
Well, I came 8th from my last tournament. I was quite chuffed. So,
I nearly kicked you out, Dave. You nearly came back and I nearly said, Dave, you're out. I'm sorry. You won a game. That's far too much for us. So.
Yeah, so I'll probably play more games than you at the moment this year.
I know. That's terrible. Terrible. That's it for me. Mike, what have you been up to? And I think the answer's going to be fairly one-dimensional.
Yeah, I'm going to be the boring one here. It's like, we're just full prep mode for the UK Games Expo, honestly. We've been doing it from, I want to say November last year. We started putting things into place and whatnot, and then we brought on the Creator Fund and everything, so that's done really well for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's literally prep. There's not enough hours in the day. I've got that many things to bring to the expo this year. It's I thought I had a lot last year. This year's just going to absolutely dwarf it. It's but yeah, it's literally just so prep. So boring old me.
Yeah, it's far from boring. That's going to be really cool. So I guess this episode will be going out the day of the opening day of the expo. So it'll be on the Friday. So we're actually recording the Wednesday before, so it's about a week and a day until you head over there. So it's super close. You put pictures of the banners that you've got. They look really cool.
They literally arrived today. Thanks to Jade, she did an amazing job with those. Now she's head of our photography and everything, and our rebrand. It's night and day from what it was, and the response has been amazing. It's just, the photographs don't do those banners justice. It's one of those things where it's like, you come and see it next to it, and it's like, wow, you can see the individual grains of sand, and it's like, you could never do that before. It's like, she went above and beyond. She really did with us, so, yeah.
Because she'll be with you, won't she, on the for periods of the day?
She's doing a hobby hangout on the stand on the Saturday and Sunday, I believe, for a couple of hours each, where she'll be going over just basic basing techniques and sculpting. I think there'll be some freebies going out. Don't hold me to that. But she's going to be doing those, and we'll be showing off all her custom dioramas that she's been doing for us over the last few months as well. They're going to be on show, and once again, she went above and beyond, and I couldn't have asked for a better creator to come on board, honestly.
Awesome. So for those who are listening, watching, it's Jade. Jade is at Jade_Littlen LITTLEN.creates. She's really good. Jade's really good. Her models are fantastic, and her bases look absolutely incredible. So if you're listening and you're going to Games Expo, I believe that she's there 2 till 4.
I believe
exactly what the hobby hangout is. Hold on, I'm going to look it up so everyone can actually find out, because I'm going to come 3 till 4.
Yeah.
Jade will be there Saturday and Sunday, so I'll be heading over as well to see her and see the stuff she's been doing. So
it's well worth a look, honestly. The level of detail that she's done is I've never seen dioramas that good in a long time, of the size as well. These are all going to be 10-inch bases, so they're not exactly small, and she's cranked them out in about 4 months. All of them. There's about 5 or 6 of them, and it's crazy.
It's incredible.
Oh yeah, and she's been doing her own things as well. So it's it's just amazing what she's been doing for us.
She stopped painting miniatures like 2 years ago as well, just to make us all feel really sick.
Yeah, to make us all, exactly, just to show us all up.
Yeah.
It's like, but no, she's really humble about that as well. It's like, oh, I've only been doing it for somebody. I'm sorry. Yeah.
That makes it worse.
Yeah.
If you said you were doing this for 20 years, it'd be fine, but yeah, you'd be doing it too. And
Exactly. It just shows her talent as well. Same with the partner Phil. It's his stuff's just as good, and again, more the grim dark kind of stuff, but it's like just as good as well. The level that he's at as well is amazing. So
yeah, you got some really great creators, because Lady Kate's obviously one of them as well.
Chloe's done some
big
good stuff
friend
for
of
us.
big friend of the podcast.
Yeah. Hopefully we've got some plans with her as well coming up. So yeah, it's all going ahead. Honestly, this year has been a whirlwind.
I can imagine. Yeah,
but it's been one of the best years for us as well, being an anniversary year. It just all aligned perfectly, honestly.
10 years this year, right?
It is, 10 years this year. It's not felt like it. Thanks to we can all thank COVID for that. But yeah, no, it was Inception. Was when at our previous base of operations. It was thanks to a local hobby shop that I went into regularly. They were doing basing, and I'm like, again, it was very much like it was flock. That was it. And I'm like, my other business, being in the horticultural sector and being in the tropical sector, it's like, I see these dioramas, and it's like, at the time, it was only the Gundam people who were doing them, at all. And even then, they were only at the pro kind of tournaments. And it's like, why aren't more people doing this over here?
Yeah.
Surely this is easier to get. And then the more you look into it, and it's like, there's like 4 sands out there, and it's like, okay. So, but now, this year has been just a whirlwind, and the amount of products that we've brought out this year is crazy compared to what we usually do, and we've got more planned for the expo at launch.
Nice.
So I think this year's total is coming up to about 25 new products.
Wow.
So just on basing terrains that have arrived. Again, I've got stuff that's supposed to be coming just after the expo, so
crazy.
Always keep your eyes peeled with us.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I guess we're going on to the next 2 weeks. Your next 2 weeks is Expo, and then probably recovering from Expo.
Yes. Yes. Like I say, Expo, and then I've got another show with my other business literally the week after. I don't know how I'm going to get to that one, honestly.
Crawl.
But yeah, exactly, yeah. But yeah, no, a month of at least rest, and then on to the next projects, honestly. I've got to keep up with GW somehow and all their releases, so
it's ridiculous, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It was one of the main reasons I never went and stayed on the GW train in the early days. It was just the amount of content you had to keep bringing out. It was crazy, and keep up with. And if you even missed a few months, you'd miss half the releases, and it's
tons. Yeah.
And then, of course, all your customers would be like, oh, well, I want this XYZ. And I'm like, what's that?
Yeah.
So that's why we stayed with the D&D crowd, the TTRPGs. But yeah, I mean, Warhammer is just, it's on all cylinders at the moment, again, from what I can see. Got some really cool releases coming out as well. So very interested in the... is it the Chinese-looking elves that are coming out?
Yeah. Why has the name escaped me? Dave, you know what they're talking about.
What, you mean the
Cathay.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Cathay. Well done, Dave.
I'm intrigued by those. I am. Yeah, that's that definitely intrigues me. That kind of aesthetic, definitely. So,
especially the Century stone thing.
Yeah,
for your basic stuff now, you could go nuts on it.
Yeah, exactly.
You can go it's still got moss and stuff like that on it.
Yeah,
the world's your oyster with that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
It's quite nice to see.
Oh, definitely.
It'll be interesting to see what the community does with it. and stuff like that to the people that it goes out to.
I think it's going to be similar kind of how they approach the Seraphon as well again. I think it's going to be little steps at the beginning, and then everyone just goes absolutely mental with it, because then it's like the floodgates have opened.
Yeah.
And the creativity is just... or everyone is just tapped, and it's like, that's exactly what we need in the hobby. Is more of the free thinkers and the ones who will push the envelope, so to say. That's again one of the things that we like to do, is like we're never always right. It's like I've got lines that I've taken off and come back and whatnot, and it's like I'll be the first to admit that was wrong. I was going for something, not quite worked. Let's go back to the drawing board. But I prefer the free thinkers. They're the ones who drive. And again, people like Chloe, people like Jade. There's so many more out there, honestly, that are just experimenting and pushing the limits of what a diorama can be.
Yeah.
And that's we will love that kind of stuff. Always will.
Yeah, for sure. Go on then, Dave. What's your next 2 weeks?
Right. Well, I would like to get my 5. This is the 3rd week running. My 5 assault guys at least dry brush, but I can't make any promises. But that'd be my main goal that I would like to do. And to be honest, well, I've got my tanks I could potentially do, but I need to build another one for our game in June. Then I've got all my stuff ready for that. But so yeah, finished building the tank off, which I've literally just got the turret, the sponsons to add on, and that is it. I'll paint my track separately because I've got ledge belcher spray, and I'll just earth shade it, just make it dirty. Done.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's probably my 5 intercessors. Finish my tank build, and hopefully get it sprayed and do the camo pattern. But that's probably pushing it. But yeah, I'm going to continue doing small stuff. It keeps the wheels chugging. I don't want to burn myself out.
Keep the wheels turning. That's the important thing.
And definitely. Who knows, I may see if I can try to get stuff for my 500 points doubles of Blood Angels. If I can. If not, I've got my horses to back me up. So I can just rely on them. So that's fine. That's me. How about you?
I probably going to try and paint some of my tank, I guess. Similar to you, all the tracks, all the Gravis plates, they're still unprimed. I was just going to spray them black silver agrax, and then stick them on, and then do the streaking grime after that. So yeah, I'll probably get started with that. Part of me wants to paint my Tech Marine, part of me wants to paint Calgar. They're both kind of screaming at me to get them done, so I might sort of pick a character and focus on doing that. Unlike you, I have got about 0 points of my 2k list painted so far, because I'm going to try and take custom chapter. I was going to take aggressors, but I think I've taken those out now for the heavy intercessors. So basically the 3 things that I did paint for my 2k list are now not part of my 2k list. So I need to really crack on with that, because I've got it's about a month.
If that fails, you've got your Deathwing to fall back on anyway. So
I do just have 2,000 points of Terminators that I can put in front of you.
Yeah. I'll say now, my stuff won't be fully painted, all of it. So I've still got like my 10 Death Riders that I'll slap chop ready to go. I've still got like 5 fully painted Death Riders that need the bases to be done. And I've still got the Marshal to paint, which is already slap chops. So yeah, so I will get back to the Lost Guard, but I just can't be asked.
It'd be 3 colours, right? Black, grey and white. That's 3 colours.
Yeah, and the Black Abyss base, yeah.
Exactly. It's a base, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll say that.
I mean, I might have my stuff spray gold. It seems like I can spray gold quickly, so I have 2,000 points of. Yeah, do you remember when they brought out the first Stormcast, the easy to build Stormcast? That's what they're going to look like. Like the whole base goes gold. Literally, the whole thing is just gold. It just looks like an easy to build thing that's
like a
put
GW
together.
miniature, isn't it? It's like, this is what you have. It's like, take it home.
Yeah, it's like that magazine that they brought out as part of like what do they call it? Did they call it Stormbringer? Was that the AOS version of the magazine?
Oh, I can't remember.
I think it was.
That far back.
Whichever one it was. I think it was Stormbringer. But yeah, the Stormcast, they always brought those out, and it was just like, hey, you've got a gold model. You can go and play with your gold model. I'm just like, that's my entire army. You've not even painted them yet, GW. That's my entire army.
Yeah.
Thanks. So yeah, I'm going to try and crack on with that. I'm going to Game Expo. So Saturday, Sunday, I'll be there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm really like, it's going to be my first sort of gaming event. So I went to MPO last year. That was my first ever like in-person event. Games Expo will be my like first big con type thing I've ever been to in my life. I am both very much looking forward to it and very, very terrified because I'm going on my own.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, completely on my
own. I let him down on this one.
Well, I'd always had the plan to go. Whether or not there was any, but the thing is, I've like made so many friends now that there's almost always going to be people.
Oh
about.
yeah. That's the great thing about the community. They're always there, and especially the expo, you will find everyone there. Even if they say they're not going, they always wind up going. So
yeah. There's some really cool, like Chloe, me and Chloe are really sort of are good friends and stuff like that. So I'll end up probably hanging out with Chloe for a bit, and who else, like Dasmall Gaming, War Gaming's going to be there as well, and I'll have a good chat with him, and like Simon's going along with Daz, I think, as well, stuff like that. Obviously, Mike, you guys are going over there. The Cryptic Cabin crew are going over as well. Incidentally, they were literally round the corner from you.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realise that. I want to go say hello and everything, but yeah. I knew I was going to be in the hall with a few of the bigger names this year. I'm literally opposite Warlord. I could not have picked a better pitch if I tried. Because traditionally we do a lot for the tank people. And it's just, we've always had a good interaction with them and everything. So, but yeah, the community is always there. And we encourage it as well. So if there's any creators that are listening, come say hi. We're always a safe space. Because I will say, bring more water than you think, and wear comfy shoes.
Yes, I will be wearing very comfortable shoes, very comfortable clothes. I have stickers. I was showing the guys before we started recording. I got the stickers delivered today as we're recording. And for some lucky ones, I've also got some dice. So if you're very nice, I may hand out a few dice.
Yeah. Remember, kids, don't speak to strangers.
Yeah, don't speak to strangers. Just come and speak to me. You've seen my face enough now. You know that I'm not a stranger, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm really It's like, part of me is absolutely terrified of the fact I'm going to go there and just walk around on my own for 2 days, which is fine. I can live with that.
But at least you've got 2 days though. You're not going on the Friday as well. Friday is always the busiest day.
Really?
So
Saturday would be the busiest.
No.
Interesting.
There was that many last year. We were going to go get some board games, me and the missus, and we thought, okay, we'll go at the end of the day or something. Be great. 3 of the big publishers that we wanted to get to had sold over 5,000 copies each, and were sold out on day one. And I'm like, what? That's bonkers. But again, we were at the back of the hall last year, and within the first 5 minutes, there were people at our stall. We thought, we'd get about half hour. Nah. It's people. If people know that you're there, they will go find you. So my advice is, if you see something that you're wanting or even on the fence of getting, get it before it sells out. Because the offers there are silly as well. Especially with the board gamers and the miniature people, because there's a lot of the miniature people bring out exclusives. So again, perfect time to grab them whilst you can. But yeah, no, you're brave going first time by yourself. That is brave.
On my own, yeah, on my own. I mean, I have a history of it, so I'm used to going to. So like, I went travelling on my own when I was younger and stuff like that. Like I'm used to going to weird places on my own and making friends. that's the best way to make friends. Just do it.
Oh yeah, most definitely.
Yeah. But thankfully, it's almost like I'm going on my own, but at the same time, there's going to be so many people there that I know, and there's going to be so much stuff to do that I doubt I'll even realise.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my big stuff. I would like to try and finally get on with some of the YouTube stuff. I'm not going to promise I'm going to do it. It needs. I really want to do it. Every time that it's really weird. There's two places that I do my best thinking. One is in the shower. The second one is walking the dog.
Yeah.
And
I can see that. Yeah. Yep.
All I can think about when I'm doing those two things is the YouTube videos and what I'm going to do in them and stuff like that. And so I need to get on with it. But I'm properly into painting at the minute, so I'm not going to promise you on the YouTube side. I'm enjoying my painting too much right now. Yeah, I think that's it for my 2 weeks. Seems quite busy. Painting a tank in 2 weeks.
Not bad for 2 weeks.
Yeah, painting a tank in 2 weeks is going to be a bit of a stretch, but I'll put it out there.
Well, at least you can have a relax the last week of it where you got Expo. So.
It's true.
Relaxing.
Yeah,
what's that?
Yeah, maybe I need to take my tank to Expo and I'll just wander around Expo painting the tank.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Yeah.
Just do your not weathering. That's it. Done.
Yeah. Just stood there pouring streaking grime over a tank. Everyone's just like, what is he doing?
Colourful advertising.
Yeah, that'd be perfect. Yeah, just take my gold spray and spray everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, given we've done that, let's go on to the topic of the podcast, Mike, and that's you, unfortunately, for you. I'm going to put you in the spotlight. Everything's on you now. So,
okay. Corrupt mastermind in the spotlight.
Yeah, so you're in the chair. There's going to be some questions thrown your way. I'm going to take the opportunity because me and Dave seem to be getting more and more into basing, so I'm going to throw quite a lot of basing stuff, quite a lot of diorama stuff at you because you are the expert. So yeah, we'll go from there. But easy first question: can you just sort of give us a bit of a history and what Gatehouse Gaming UK is?
Yeah. So like I said before, it was birthed through visiting our local gaming store where I lived at the time, and it was more of a can you do this, can you do that, and me coming from the tropical industry and everything like that, I make terrariums, and that's what I did before terrarium building became cool and mainstream. I used to do it, go over to someone's house, apartment, and I would build like the big 4-foot, 6-foot things. So make them a full jungle, spray systems, plants, the lot. That's what I did.
The OG diorama, yeah.
Yeah, so exactly. But it was mainly for your reptile keepers. So if they've got a really expensive, I don't know, gecko or something that they want in a jungle enclosure, I was the person they would call. So it was more of wanting, whilst I was getting back into the wargaming scene, and D&D especially at the time was my call back. So it was kind of to help emulate the wargaming bases and your miniature bases at the time. That's where it started. It wasn't really the dioramas, it was more the miniatures. It was like, okay, all of these armies come from different areas of a world. Why is no one doing any kind of world building, so to say? It's like, okay, you've got AOS dwarves from somewhere, you've got your seraphoms from jungles. It's like, you don't want them on the same flock basing. That seems silly to me. So it was part of, okay, let's see what we can do. Let's merge the two worlds together. And it came so easily and so fluidly at the time. Then we got into the 3D printing side. Again, I started with the FDMs, doing basic little scatter because that was the next progression.
Yeah.
After that, we went solely into resin printers, and that is where I stay. Resin printers, you get the detail. You can go super small, but again, at the same time, it was all about elevating the basing, and then it wound up going to dioramas.
Yeah.
So it was just a natural progression kind of thing of where we've gone. Again, mainly sticking with the D&D and your TTRPGs. We didn't really deal much with the Warhammer kind of side, 40k more, really, at all.
Yeah.
That has come round in the last probably about 3-4 years.
Okay.
Again, since 10th edition, we kind of dabbled back into it. Great response.
I can imagine.
Again, it was more of the metallics coming back in there, more of the barren landscapes were coming back in.
Yeah, the sort of grim dark type stuff.
Yeah, post-apocalyptic-y, exactly. That was kind of coming back in. Because again, there was either you had Green Flock, or you had Cork, or you had a bit of Slate. That was about it. Or again, you painted it snot green, or you painted it black. That was kind of it. But yeah, it just all happened at the right time in my eyes. It was a weird combination of just the right place, the right time, and the elevation and the reception from the community has always been great. It's just the larger community as a whole were very traditionalist. They wanted the stuff you could literally plug and play onto a tabletop. They didn't really care about the intricacies as much. They just wanted something that they could dip in a pot, put on the tabletop, done. Which is we're, funnily enough, pivoting back to that because that's where the market was going naturally anyway. And the amount of cool miniatures you can actually just easily play on the tabletop now. They're not overly complicated, but they're grand enough to justify putting them on the tabletop in a nice setting. That's kind of the history of Gatehouse. It's just been an amalgamation of where I've come from and getting back into the hobby.
It makes sense. It feels like almost the best time, because I know, obviously we talked about the sort of history, but it feels like definitely as I've sort of grown more in the community, and obviously through the sort of First Rank Fire podcast, I've talked to some great painters. But it definitely feels like on the competitive painting side, if you've not got a good base, you're never going to place. So it almost doesn't matter how well you paint your model. Who was it? It was I can't remember their name. There was one who I looked at heard their feedback on their model, and basically it was just like, the model would be great, and if you put it into Masters, it probably wouldn't have won anything though. Like so in Standard it got gold, but then going into Masters they were just like, what's missing? Model absolutely fantastic. The base they were like, the base is okay. Yeah. But if you want to do something, you want to become better at the Masters, you need to do something with the base. So it feels like, that transition's happened. It's recently, but recently enough.
Yeah, it's with the upper echelon of painters. It's now, and again, thanks to the judging of the competitions, it's now, okay, let's look at the bases. It's not the bases were an afterthought, or if you put it on like a pedestal kind of thing, or a trophy base, and then made something into it. It's not just that anymore. It's just, you can have a gorgeous base for your competitions as well as going into your tabletops. It's not as segregated as it used to be. And again, it's the new wave of painters that are coming through, as well as the old school who are adapting correctly and who are actually embracing it, which I think is always a good thing. And that's how the hobby kind of moves forward. There's a long way to go in basing yet, believe me, but it's... And again, the things that we've got in the pipelines is crazy, but this is what the market is asking for. This is what your gamers are asking for now, because they have a lot more pride on putting their army on the tabletop. They want that individuality to it, which is what we've always strived for. Again, hence our catalogue is so big.
Yeah.
But now, like I say, we're going back to the wargamers who are literally competition ones. They want to paint it in their army colour, get it on the table, get out to the tournaments. That is a completely different section of customers and section of hobbyists than we've ever really dealt with before. And it's very interesting to see what they kind of come up with versus the very openly creative painters. And again, we look at both, and it's just amazing what they come up with. And again, we thrive off that. It's like we want to see everything that you can do, and that kind of drives us to go forward more. So, but yeah, with basing, it's come a long way.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is still that two ends of it. I mean, we obviously talked about Chloe, we talked about Jade. You look at the stuff that Jade did, it's primarily towards the diorama. It's the sort of almost like the competition piece type painting.
That's it. Yeah.
And then you've got Chloe, who's the other end of the spectrum. Chloe, absolutely incredible painter.
Amazing.
Has competition painted, but when you look at a lot of her content recently, it's more aimed towards that sort of army painter who wants to get something done relatively quickly to a good standard.
Yes. Oh yeah.
And part of that actually includes just stuff like base mixers and putting stuff onto that base but in a relatively quick way.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that's one of the best kind of well received posts that we've ever done, especially on Instagram. If you've seen it, was the one earlier this year where she took a load of our basing materials, literally mixed them up to a pot, shredded them to pieces, and the response from that was amazing. And again, is one of the driving forces with a couple of the. Well, I say about 10 lines that we're launching at the UK Games Expo. That was the conception of it. So there's a lot more of that kind of stuff coming. And again, that opened our eyes back to the dip and paints. It's like you literally want to put it in, get it out. Nothing wrong with your painting. Your basing might not be your focus. But you can still have a nice base.
Yeah, 100%. So, yeah, that was definitely something with my custom chapter. Sorry, Dave, I'm just completely kiboshing here. There's definitely something with the custom chapter. Was I knowing that I've got roughly 7,000 or 8,000 points of Space Marines, having to paint that many and having to do like these picture perfect bases every time was just like daunting. And so it was that sort of middle ground between I want something good, so stuff like those dips and things like that. I absolutely love a base mix. I'm a massive convert to them. But yeah, then starting to like combine it with the some of the more traditional stuff. So like for example, the custom chapter one that I did, rather than using PVA, I was using the I think it was a Vallejo, still like the sand mix that they've got.
Yeah.
So using that and then using tufts and things like that, and using like scatter in there. It's a relatively quick and easy way of doing it to get a good base.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. The one thing that is missing from our catalogue, and probably will be for a little bit, to be honest, is tufts. Again, Siege, amazing company, great, and I'm so happy that they've come to the space as well, because they've put the word out there even more. They have the social following that I dream of, even though I've been around for so long. Social media is not my forte, and Jade reminds me of that constantly. But yeah, no, they've made the space even more aware that you can do this. This is available to you, and you can do it and get your models on the tabletop quick. Their pre-mixtures, from what I'm hearing, are getting great response. Their tufts are quite unique. The mixtures of the grasses, you'll only get so many, regardless of where they're from. But the response from them is great, and again, that's what we need more of. It's like I'm one of the biggest in the UK who do this kind of stuff, I'm always open to people bringing their own flavour and taste to it. It's always good for the hobby to have someone come in and do something different. That's why everyone has kind of been, are you worried about what seed you're doing? Are you doing this? And I'm like, no, I'm congratulating them. It's like, literally, I'm going to go see them at the expo and shake their hands. There's more than enough space on the hobby market for us all, and they're pushing it in a different way. They've got their core base and the way that they paint as well. It's like I wasn't surprised by that's what they're going for. Me, I've just got everything under the sun to my own demise. So it's but they're sticking to what they're good at, and that's where people should do. It's like find your niche, find where your customer base or your audience is, and just do that for so long, and then just advance from that. And again, that's what we've done. There's no real secret to it. It's just you evolve and you listen to people. And again, unfortunately for us, there's so many of you lovely customers and people out there and modelers that we have to listen to all of you, and you all want all the cool stuff. And again, it's the space is always evolving, and it should evolve, especially with painting techniques. Especially, it's like the more people experiment, the more games are out there, the better it is for everyone, honestly.
Yeah. Dave, I'll stop stealing all the conversation.
I was going to say, let's have some.
I'm using Mike as my personal sort of expert.
Your info, you're just like scooping up. That's
Sorry.
right.
I'm here to, like I say, I'm always here to give advice. I'm not one of those people who go, oh, you can only have this if you go this. Like, I'm an open book. I honestly don't care.
That's
Don't
the
worry,
perfect
I have
hobby,
plenty more
isn't it?
questions. I just
all.
let Dave actually have a go before I steal all of your time.
No, so I'm just more interested in the technical side. So do you guys have a personal creator who does your STL files? Well, people don't know it's for your resin stuff.
No, they are all licensed at the moment.
Okay.
We do have our own sci-fi range, which we are looking to relaunch, should I say, in the next kind of month. Which again, that was my brother who designed those whilst he was doing designing during COVID. We tried a Kickstarter at the time; it didn't do well, so we've kind of just printed the scenery as is. But that's coming. The digital files will be coming, as well as the physicals. We are going to be selling the physicals as well as digitals. But again, most of the things that we work with other creators for licenses, and again, the people who we work with are amazing people. We've got a few things in the works, especially with more of the plant-based kind of stuff, because everyone goes, oh, we want this plant. It's coming. It's coming.
It's hard to please everyone, isn't it?
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah.
But yeah, so with your resin, I was like, I know where. That's probably one difference between the filament behind you is where resin is. So have you got preferred resin that you use for people that you could, if they've got their own printer at home? For me, I had one potentially.
So we primarily run Elegoo's. The Elegoo Saturn 4s are our bread and butter at the moment. We are looking to get some more of the bigger format printers as well, post-Expo, obviously. We're looking at getting some more Mega 8Ks and whatnot, just because we have a lot of batch printing. The best resins that I can honestly say that we have the best results from are Elegoo's 8K, specifically their Space Grey. So we seem to get a lot better definition of the prints on them. Even though it's darker, the contrast on them, especially in the light, is a lot better. Then Frozen, their 8K resin, obviously for them 98Ks, there's no compromise. And then the other one, if you are on a budget, the other brand is Gratkik. Their 8K resin. That is also a very good one as well. If you're not a fan of the wateriness of any cubic, or if you're not too sure on getting your settings quite right with Elegoo, because sometimes they take a little bit. The Gratkit, I can't fault it. I go through kilos of that stuff every week. It's crazy. I think I've got post Expo, I've got about another 40 kilos of that the week after just arriving. So I think, just for the Expo resin in all the prints, I think we've gone through probably about 60 to 80 kilos just in what we're taking. So it's
wow.
It soon adds up when you're doing like loads of little pieces. Yeah. It's like, oh sugar, I've gone through another kilo of the stuff. But yeah, those are the resin brands that we use personally and have great results with.
Yeah. So with your resin printing side, it's pretty much booming now, isn't it?
It is, most definitely.
Do you guys use is it Sonic wash thing, or is it?
We do. Yes.
Wash?
Yes. Yeah. We actually have. We upgraded. We used to do it manually for so long, and then this last year it became too much. So yeah,
Games Expo.
Oh, honestly, it was crazy. It's the best thing I ever purchased. We've got a big. How big is that one? That's a 10-litre one that we've got there. I do have another one that should arrive this week as well. Just a Sonic one. Comes with a little net in it. Put it in. Put the timer on. Away you go. It's the best money that I've spent in years just to streamline the process.
What's in that? Is that sorry, Dave? Are you using like water or a water mixer?
Isopropanol.
Okay, so you're still using propanol.
It's the best thing to clean your resin. I don't believe in using water, even the water-soluble resins. I don't believe in that because of...
I found them horrible to work with.
The resin is not as good, never will be. The disposal of the resin, don't ever put it down your sink. Ever. It's... Again, we are a very eco company as well. Across the board, through all our companies, we are ethical and sustainable. So, flushing resin down your drains, no, that's a big no-no for us. But yeah, so we use isopropanol because we can dispose of that safely. Even the amount we go through, we can dispose of that safely for next to nothing. That's what we put in there. Fill it up like 3/4 of the way up to the top. Dunk whatever prints in. Load the basket up. Put it in 10 minutes. Dump out. Dry them off. Spray with a bit more isopropanol to get the residue off. Away you go.
Nice. Sorry, Dave. I had to ask that one.
No. That's fine. I can see you're bursting in excitement, like a little kid.
It's really fun. These are really great questions. I never really thought of these. These are fascinating.
So for like newbies who have never touched resin or bought from your site, is that you say you wash them and you dry them and you spray them with like the extra goodness stuff. Would you advise your new beginners to wash them again?
They don't need to, because we do all of that ourselves. We do all the post-processing. They are cured on our end as well. So they are literally ready to paint.
Because I know some people will get confused with like Forge World resin, for example.
Yes.
Has you have to wash that.
That's
just a different type of resin.
Yeah, it's a different type of resin. The Forge World resin, depending on which resin they're on about now, because now they do openly 3D print. A lot of theirs is still injection molded. But it's a different resin. I've never quite figured it out. But again, I do have a friend who might be able to help a bit more on that and advise. But yeah, with Forge World, I would always kind of just dab it down with a bit of, isopropanol. Just dab it down with a sponge, and then you'll be fine. Honestly, it's just a coating over the top of it.
Yeah, and a lot of that is the release agent, isn't it?
Yeah,
I think.
That's it. Yeah. It's a byproduct of the injection molding process.
Yeah. Dave, that was absolutely. I would like you to carry on with that. That was fascinating. So I used to have I have a 3D printer. I have not touched it in 5 years because I've had kids. So Yeah, it's sat in the garage.
Yeah.
So I used to like hand clean them all and stuff like that. It was such a. I loved what came out of it. What I didn't love was all the painful process that goes with it.
Yeah, that's overlooked, honestly, and it's great that the 3D printers are now affordable so much that you can just literally pick one up, order it, and it arrives to your door, and you can plug and play. Yeah. It's great. It's the post-processing that puts a lot of people off, and they realise, oh, it's not just a model that I have to print and then cure. It's like, oh no, you've got to wash it properly, otherwise you've got toxic resin everywhere. And that's
or you hollow it out and your uncured resin's going to crack your model open and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for us, I mean, any of our little pieces we don't do hollow because they're that intricate anyway. So
that size.
No. So we have the luxury of printing solid. But yeah, I mean, for the larger models, always hollow them out, always wash them out, and then make sure you cure the inside as well as the outside. So when you're curing, a lot of these stations, they have the lights kind of here, and then you stand your model in the middle. Stand your model so the light can penetrate through into the hollow on the inside, and then you'll get a truly cured model as well, which a lot of beginners just forget or aren't aware of. So
I saw a lot of people getting like the UV LEDs that you can effectively make your hole big enough. You put your UV LED up in there and.
I mean, for us personally, we print that much anyway. We have basically massive floodlights that we put over a bay, and it's like, okay, we're going to cure all of you now. Boom, done. We went from a nice little custom box that we made, and then all of a sudden, they started making their own curing stations, and I'm like, shucks. But we then just go, well, we're printing enough anyway. We'll put it in this tray, put the light on, boom. 5-10 minutes later, at the very most, depending on the size, they're all done. Sorry.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So I'm going to go back to basing and really sort of, it's kind of picking on what you were sort of saying earlier about focusing more towards the sort of or how you started focusing on the individual base. Would you say there's quite a big difference in the way that you approach a base compared to a diorama, or vice versa?
Yes, yeah. The thing with, if you're just approaching a base, especially on something like a 32mm, so your standard kind of troop size, you've got to, the way that I always approach it is, you've got to think of what your model is, and then how, say if you're going into a jungle environment, how each plant would scale to said model. It's like, so there's no point putting a massive fern, for example, on a 32mm base, because A, it's not going to look great on the tabletop, and B, it's going to look disproportionate to the miniature. Because again, yes, everything is, scales are up for interpretation, aren't they, really? There's no really true scale apart from some of the more historical ones, which that's a whole different kettle of fish, and dealt with that in the past, and that's a whole different one. But yeah, from a base to a diorama, for a diorama you need to look at a lot broader picture. So not just how one miniature is going to integrate and react to certain things in its immediate vicinity. You've got to take that little screenshot, and then you've got to kind of zoom out, so to say, on the actual environment. And the scale. You've got to. There's a lot of bigger aspects, but you've also got a lot more smaller aspects as well. So you've got big plants, and then you've got lots and lots and lots and lots of little plants there. For example, if you're in a jungle, if you're in a western, so to say, you've got lots of arid plants, or you've got little scorpions or snakes or whatever. You've got to account for the size and the consistency of those as well. It's again, and it all goes down to the scale of the sand as well, if you're using.
Okay, yeah.
It's as silly as that, and we've learned this over the years as well. No sand is the same. There are lots and lots of different grades, even in the same colour. I didn't know this until I delved into this, and it opens up an entire minefield. And then you go into grits. Grits are a whole thing, and I could spend hours explaining that. But from getting back to it, going from a base is basically a screenshot. So like little there, and then when you go to a diorama, you approach it as you would taking a photograph of a landscape. That's how you kind of have to kind of zoom out from that point of view. That's the only way. It in the miniature world, that's the best way to do it. Yeah.
Interesting. So, would you, given the opportunity, you could only do one or the other? Would you prefer to do bases, or would you prefer to do dioramas as your forever?
Ooh, forever. I would probably do. I would probably do the dioramas because you can spend more time on it. You can get a lot more detailed with it, and your perspective is a lot bigger. Whereas, like I say, on the miniatures, it is a screenshot of that one troop in that one vicinity traipsing through a jungle. This is why, again, I like armies on parade, is because at the moment the current trend is they are taking those little screenshots, but they've got a few of them in a like a troop formation, and it's like you are making a diorama out of that. That is the peak of the wargaming kind of basing at the moment, in my opinion, because then you have lots of different troops within one scene instead of just one either lovely big diorama with one element and then the actual scatter diorama supplies around it, or you again armies on parade, you've got many in one scene, which I think just elevates it that much better. And the creativity is there as well, because you've got to have all these different troops have the same theme within that very specific diorama for them to be on display. Yeah,
I guess the issues you probably got with the arms on parade is if you try and do the same thing to make them uniform, it ends up looking bland.
Yeah, so exactly. So you've got to have them unique, but within the same theme. That's always going to be the trick, always.
Yeah, which I guess most army painters, myself included, my aim is to make them all look the same, because that way it's obvious that they're in the same army. But I guess when you start to see that bigger picture, take a swamp. Let's think about a swamp. You may have one person that's walking on relatively hard ground, and then one other person that's sloshing through swamp. And so actually, to get the whole picture, I guess you don't have the same sandwood tufts on every single one. You might have to think about it slightly. That's interesting. Yeah, really interesting. I used to do a lot of photography when I was a lot younger, and one of the styles that I really loved was I can't remember what style it is, but basically the idea is you take small pictures. So you take a building, you take small pictures of the building, and then to create the overall picture, you take each one of those small pictures and you put them together.
Right, I see what you mean. Yeah.
It's a really cool style of photography.
Yeah.
Really cool style of photography, but I guess it's that same thing. It's understanding what that small picture is, but then how it feeds into that.
How it feeds into the grander scale of things. Yeah, exactly.
Because if you get that wrong, you get that one picture out of scale or slightly off, it will absolutely ruin the whole thing.
Yeah, I mean when it comes to that kind of stuff, it's everyone wants a unique base, and I get that. But when you're basing for troops, it is a completely different mindset. But then when you want to expand upon that, and again, even just a bog standard troop to say a biker or a horse, those have different aspects as well, because again it's the scale you've got to look at. Because if you're basing a single miniature, if you're doing grasses, for example, if you've got a tuft of grass, that tuft of grass, if you're in the real world, isn't going to come up that high. But again, if you're doing a swampy background, then the grasses that are in a swamp, they're going to be that high. They're going to be about knee-high-ish on a person. But then if you go to like a bike, then the bike is already going to be a lot lower down than a human standing. So you've got to account for those kind of scales as well if you're wanting the same army within the same theme, if you want it to kind of just mesh together that much better. And I think there's a few creators starting to kind of understand that. And again, that's where I come from a horticultural background. We get layering. We have to layer everything as part of designing, again, terrariums, enclosures, that kind of stuff. We deal in layers. Foreground, background. It's a whole complex thing. It's not as complicated as it sounds when you actually go into it. It's really dumbed down but that's the kind of core aspects. You've got to think of scaling, regardless of, even if it's within the same army. Is one of my biggest tips. Is if you want it to look nice and uniform, think of how it would be in the real world. Even though it's not real world, just equate it to something in the real world, and then you'll get everything so much nicer.
It's interesting. I got maybe something of a follow on, but obviously we all paint miniatures. We want it to look beautiful and stuff like that. Obviously we've talked about how you create that grandiosity, if that's a word. Of your base and things like that. How do you then stop it from overtaking the model? If that makes sense.
I will have to get back to you on that one.
Okay. No. It feels like there's a balance, because you see some of these models and you kind of like that. That's like 95% base. There's a model on it. There is 95% base.
There is a balance. One of the main things is you've either got do you need to move on to your next project? Is usually the main hurdle and obstacle that makes people go, I need to stop here. Second one, I would say, is how realistic you want to get, because that will, on the same side, elevate your painting as well. Because I take from nature, I take from the natural world, so there's no paint that's ever going to be, in the miniature world anyway, there might be elsewhere, but in the miniature world, there is no paint that will mimic true life. You will never get there. You'll get close. You will get close. But there are certain light conditions and certain tones that you just can't mimic with paint. So that usually, as soon as you kind of get to that level, I've seen a lot of creators go, oh, sugar, I need to stop now. This is as good as it's going to get. If I go any further, I'm going to go down a crazy rabbit hole here. But yeah, that's kind of the two major points when it's like, I need to step back a bit. The base is done. I mean, the third one I would probably say is the base gets too crowded. You've got a lovely big base, especially on some of these beasts. I see it more commonly in the Tyranids because they've got lovely big bases. People tend to go a bit over the top with those ones, especially in the jungle environments and whatnot, more than the cityscapes, funnily enough. I would have thought it'd be more easier to overdo it in the cityscapes because of all the greebles and everything and all that kind of stuff, pipes, fans, whatnot. I see it more on the jungles. People just go over the top with them. My advice to them, if that is the case, go look at resin printed bases, because those have the patterns on them ready for you. If that's where your mind is going, then maybe that would be the base for you. Instead of going down a scatter route, maybe go down a textured base route.
Interesting.
Would probably be my call, honestly.
Yeah, no, that's good. Dave, I'll let you.
I was going to say, let's have Dave's questions.
I've asked all the technical questions on your behalf. So,
they're fascinating. I love it.
So, is it going from like base, like 95% of base and stuff like that? So, do you feel like sometimes people get, as you were saying, get try to get over carried away with dioramas, because they're supposed to tell a story, aren't they? On the base.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
I feel like, as you said, people like, as they feel like they're getting overwhelmed with the basing, and they need to stop, but sometimes everyone's guilty of it. I think we're all guilty of it here.
Yeah.
We get so excited by it and just plough more into it.
I suffer from it being ADHD, so it's like I go down that. It's like hyperfixation is a thing.
Because I'm looking at some of Jade's stuff now, like some of her, like especially her Gundam and stuff like that. It's such a simplistic.
Yeah,
not simplistic, but it tells a lovely story.
So
within a few things.
Yeah, the story behind that one, again, this is my hyperfixation coming in. I'm coming back to the modelling world. Is like, I'm a big anime fan, and I wanted to do a load of these custom bases for the expo to show off the products and everything. So we've done the forest one. We've done the grim dark. I was like, is there any big mechs within the 40k kind of universe that would have done this? And she goes, well, you can go get Gundams now in the UK. And I'm like, say what? Affordable ones? And she goes, yes. And I'm like, oh God, this is now a new rabbit hole and fixation. So we go and get it out. We find the right Gundam. And it's like, can we make this one be battle-worn, like it's been blasted, and then it's just been abandoned within the jungles for 50 years or something, whatever, and the vegetation can grow over it. Have it slumped down, have it battle worn. Again, I'm a big Gundam fan of the anime anyway, so it's like, this was like, oh my God, I can make a dream project here. Many more to come, believe me. Now I've seen what's available. But the stories behind them, like you were saying, they do have to tell some sort of story. You can't just have a character or a champion on a base on something. It has to be relevant to it. It has to. A basing should always kind of what's the word? Bring more to the model than just the model itself. It should you need to, and again, this is why I love world building, is because you're going to be within that scene, and say that character is known to be on XYZ world in some form of battle, and you want them in that pose, that righteous pose, and it's like your base is then going to reflect that, and that's how you elevate the model that you already have. And again, bringing a story into a diorama is always key, because people are like, oh, well, how does this piece interact with that? And then what's the consequence of this certain action or this pose? You have to let it flow through.
Yeah, so referring back to your plant scale thing, I think that Gundam shows perfectly well in what you're meaning by, it's like, from close, when you look at the model closest to you, if it's like face on, the smaller plants, as you get further away, with your perfect example, it gets bigger and bigger.
Yeah,
you know?
I mean,
and that's a perfect example.
With those kind of things, I just relay the information. I let Jade go nuts with it. It was I can't model. I will openly say I am not a modeler. I am a creator, and I will go and find and design the best things to bring and to elevate. I can't paint to save my life. I honestly, so, but I can scale, I can sculpt, I can help direct. But again, I just let Jade go nuts with it. I gave her the most free reign I've given any creator ever, because I trusted her, because of her history and what she's done in the past. It was about trust more than anything with Jade, and her ability to up her own skill level, which again is what we want of all our creators. Is we want you to elevate your skill set. We are here as a company, but we want to help you in any way we can. that is one of the core goals of us, is if you are on board with us, what can we do to help you? So then you help us, so then we help you. It's got to be a circle. It's not a one-way street. That doesn't help anyone. So yeah, we gave her a lot of freedom, and that shows with all the dioramas. My personal favourite is the woodland scene with all the critters in. I was blown away by that one. And she says that her skill went up a whole nother level with just trying new techniques that she'd never done before. So that's what we want at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah.
Nice. I've got one. It's a bit of a sales pitch and a bit of a putting you on the spot.
Okay.
If you could pick one of your products or product line, and that would be the one that you could like really push, which would you choose, given that they're all your babies, probably?
Oh yeah. I'd have to go with my No Man's Land one, which is a very dark earth and clay looking one. We made it literally to mimic trenches for World War II, because at the time we were very much with the historical wargamers. So it has that rich, earthy kind of notes to it, but then it has the ready kind of clays that you get every now and again, especially like the Somme and everything. So we have a lot of that. And again, it just looks great. So that is probably my favourite. And then after that, it'd probably be... No, I'll stick with that one. That's the one I would.
It's a solid choice.
Yeah,
it's a solid choice, and it feels like it leans quite well into most of our audience around the sort of 40k side. Obviously, a lot of that sort of grim dark. There seems to be a lot of that sort of trench fighting. It seems to be growing quite a lot.
Yeah, I mean with trench. Oh, what's the
Trench Crusade?
Trench Crusade. That was the one. Yeah. The popularity in that. We sell so much of it to those players. It's crazy, and rightly so. That and Swamplands, which are very interchangeable. Two of the best-selling lines that we have by a long shot. But yeah, they're the ones I would take and push the most if I could. They're my favourites.
If I'm forcing you to, it's a really really solid choice. It's a really good pick. And yeah, like I say, if it leans quite well into probably quite a few. We've just named 40k. It probably leans really well into a lot of the AOS when you look at some of the stuff that's coming out of it. Yeah. It feels like AOS is getting a lot darker as the editions go on.
Yeah, I've seen that as well.
Yeah.
Which
but you look at the Salt Light. Yeah.
I mean, it needed a little bit of a shake-up, to be honest, because everything in AOS is pretty much green.
Yes.
So we needed, again, ideal in shades of green. That's evident from the amount of hedging shades that we have. I'm ideal in green, with tropical plants all day long as well. It's like, oh, that's a shade of green. Oh, that plant is that shade. But yeah, when a range gets just green, it becomes a bit boring, if I'm honest. That's why we've been liking doing a lot of the 40k kind of basing materials recently. Like I say, we launched the Dynasty Suns earlier this year to a great response. There are more on the way, different ones on the way, not just for Dynasties, but a few of those are going to be launched at the Expo, so keep an eye out. But no, you've got to have some colour. You can't be all browns, you can't be all greens. Otherwise, on a miniature especially, it just blends together so much. Dioramas less so, because you've got that scope. But on a miniature, it is pretty much green at that point. But yeah.
Yeah, like I say, perfect little sales pitch, and there's a perfect.
I'm not trying to sell anything. I'm literally just going.
No, what I'm doing is I'm trying to sell you. I think people should go and check it out, and if they are going to Expo, go and check out the stand and things like that.
Say we've got all the staff. They're all knowledgeable. It's me and the missus. We run it. We do have some helpers. The creators will all be there as well. So it's like, if you need any help, just come and ask. That's what we're there for. We're not going to say, oh, you want this, this, this. Oh, you've got a boring army. It's like, we want to know what armies you've got. We take great joy in, like, the response from the customers that we get is, oh, I've got this theme. What could I do for this? That's where we come in. That's where the creative juices get going. And that's where the layering and the themes come in. It's like, okay, we've got this theme that we could want, or you could have this one. We'll always have a choice. It's not like we have a limited amount of basing materials or terrains. It's like we will always say, look, you could do this, but if you want to be a bit more adventurous, go down this route. We are very much a company like that. We don't like to hold things back or just a one solution company. It's the wargaming industry is too big and diverse for that.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. I think I'm dry of questions, Dave. Have you got any more?
Yeah, dry as a bone, as they say.
Okay. That's all the questions we've got, Mike.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, for now, I'm going to see you at Expo, so I will just bring my extra
Please bring
list.
notes. If anyone's got any more questions, just send them over, and we'll come and answer them.
Yeah, I'm going to listen to this back when I'm editing it, and I'm just going to write down all the extra questions that I've got about 3D printing as well, which I did not expect us to go down. That was thanks, Dave. That was really interesting.
You're welcome.
To go down. Yeah, Dave is the brains of this operation. So
secretly behind the work.
So you're the good-looking one then.
No, I was about to say Dave's the brains and the looks. So I'm not quite sure really what I bring to this. I've got Space Marines, maybe. Yeah, thanks for coming on, Mike.
Pleasure.
I'll do it now while I remember. Where can people find you and Gatehouse Gaming?
Can find us on all the socials, Facebook, Instagram, Gatehouse Gaming UK. Find us on the website as well, and then just come see us at the Games Expo. We're more than happy to talk about whatever army you've got or diorama you have. We're here to help.
Yep, I'll put all the links to everything in the description. So yeah, if you want to find Mike, obviously before this, me and Mike had spoken and stuff like that. So it was really nice to sort of have you on and finally sort of speak through. We've been talking about doing this for quite a long time.
For a bit now, haven't we? It's just when we're aligned.
So it's nice to sort of get you on, and obviously Mike's a really nice guy. You can probably tell from this podcast. Really sort of approachable and stuff like that. So yeah, thank you for coming on.
No, thank you for inviting me.
Cheers for coming on, buddy.
Dave, do you want to see what the next one is? If you can remember what the next topic's going to be.
No.
Throwing you under the bus there.
Cheers. I don't know.
You don't remember? No, it's fine. I did that on purpose because I thought you wouldn't, because I wrote it down. So the next one we're going to be talking about is an interesting one. So it's just me and Dave again. So we're going to be talking about what the best number of points is for a 40k game. So super subjective.
It's the one that I came up with.
Yeah. So it's going to be it'll be interesting to sort of talk that through and understand. So obviously, it'd be ahead of it. It'd be really interesting to sort of see people's thoughts on it and stuff like that. And while I don't normally post for stuff that me and Dave are going to talk through, I think it's probably worthwhile us posting on this one because I think we get a lot of opinions on this as to what makes it good. A good 40k game.
I think.
Yeah.
Hopefully, touch wood.
Yeah, it could be we get to the podcast and everyone just goes, yeah, it's 2k, why are we even bothering talking about this? I don't think it will be. I don't think it will be. I know that I play a lot of 2k point games, but I'm not necessarily the biggest fan, but I won't talk any more than that. We'll talk about it in the next episode.
Awesome.
And that's it. Hopefully everyone enjoyed listening to this podcast and sort of got a lot out of talking to Mike, and obviously go and reach out to Mike or either of us, any of us, stuff like that. If you did enjoy it, obviously please leave subscribe, leave a review, comments, everything like that. It's really helpful. If you want to get hold of me, I'm First Rank Wargaming. If you want to get hold of Dave
Hobby Corner.
Obviously, Mike is Gatehouse Gaming UK. Thank you again for listening. I've really enjoyed this one. It's been a real pleasure.
Yeah, it's been a blast.
Yeah,
literally.
And on that, we'll see you next time. Bye.
Wait.